Bruce Pearl and #1 overall seed Auburn looking for their first Sweet 16 appearance since 2019 when they got to the Final Four. Greg McDermott and Creighton in the round of 32 for the 5th straight season. The winner gets Michigan. Mid-first half, Stephen Ashworth for 3. Had 11 points with 3 threes in the first half, finished with 13. Later in the first half, Jemiah Neal blocked by Janai Broome. Chad Baker-Mazara in transition, misses, but Dylan Cardwell on the cleanup. Auburn up 1, back and forth early. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Jackson McAndrew for 3. Got it! Creighton up by 2 at the break. 9 of 14 from beyond the arc. Blue Jays 21-3 this season when leading at the half. Mid-second, here come the Tigers. Denver Jones step back. Next possession, Jones to Dylan Cardwell. Throws it down over Ryan Kalkbrenner. Get up and get down. Tigers up by 8. Caps a 10-0 run. Under 4 minutes to go. Dahad Pettiford to Broome. Floater. Good. Broome off night, 8 points. Added 12 rebounds. Next Auburn possession. Pettiford drives. Runner. Good. Auburn up 11. Pettiford finished with a game-high 23 points off the bench. Already waving goodbye. A little over a minute to go. Denver Jones to the bucket. Count it. Put him to sleep. Auburn still dancing. And the tournament run comes to an end for Creighton. 82-70 the final. It was a tale of 2 halves for the Blue Jays and a tale of 2 halves for the Tigers. Creighton 9 of 14 from 3 in the first half, 3 of 13 in the second half, and Auburn surges in the second half, outscoring Creighton 47-33 on their way to the victory as they advance to the Sweet 16 in Atlanta, a virtual home game for the #1 overall seed.
Did you feel like a 1 seed out there?
Definitely. We took control early in the game, and I just came out trying to help my team no matter how I could do it.
Baker-Mazara and Cardwell, they were ignition for you guys to start the first half and the second. They were banged up, though. How did you guys make the unit greater than 1?
It just shows how deep our team is and the depth that we have. You know, 2 guys went down, but 2 other people stepped up, so that was just a big part of the game, and I'm happy that we did it.
As a 1 seed, have you been visualizing what it's like to go to the Sweet 16?
Definitely. You know, going back to Atlanta, that's like home for us, so it was huge making it there, so we just can't wait to get back and have the fans come and watch.
Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A special season continues for Auburn. 30th win this season, tied for the most since they made the Final Four in 2019. And they take on Michigan in the Sweet 16 next Friday. And this is going to be a little bit of a revenge game for a couple of players for Michigan. Danny Wolf beat Auburn last year in the first round when he was with Yale. And Trey Donaldson used to play for Auburn, hit the transfer portal, now playing for Michigan. So we got some emotions. We've got a lot on the line, a spot in the Elite 8 on the line. Auburn and Michigan next Friday in Atlanta.
Job's not done yet, but we've talked about this getting to the second week. What does that mean to you to get to this Atlanta regional?
Well, I mean, as I said yesterday, Thursday was the first NCAA win for a lot of our team, a lot of our guys. We haven't been past the first weekend since 2019 when we got to the Final Four. So being the #1 overall seed, you know, obviously would have been really disappointing if we didn't do it again. You know, we got upset by Miami as the 2 seed a couple years ago with a great team with Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith. But we played a team in Creighton tonight that is as good as the teams that we'll see in Atlanta. And whether it's, you know, whether it was Michigan or Texas A&M, or I'm not even sure who the other 2 are at Michigan State. Who does Michigan State play? New Mexico? Okay. There'd be great teams in Atlanta. But we knew that Creighton was going to be as good as anybody we would see on the road to the Final Four. I feel that way. So hopefully this is something that we can build on.
Here in the front on the left.
Coach, he got hurt early into the second half, but Chad Baker-Mazara scored 12 points in 6.5 minutes to get you started. Can you talk about the effort that he gave you in a game that you won ultimately by 12 points?
Yeah, I mean, Chad was being guarded by a freshman, and you know, Jackson McAndrew, who had a great great offensive game, but Chad had the advantage, and we were able to get him in a ball screen action where he was able to turn corners and get downhill, and score the basketball. You know, and I thought in the first half, where we weren't shooting a very good percentage, the guys were going downhill, and I don't want to say they were trying to draw fouls, but we were winding up being on the floor, and the fouls weren't called, and that was not good. I thought in the second half we stopped that, and we just went down there and tried to get buckets. And Chad, you know, obviously he's a $175 soaking wet, and you know, he's got a bony ass. And so when he lands on the ground, you know, bam, it's wood on bone. And so he probably got a pretty good bruise. Hopefully that's all it is.
Front row on the right.
Bruce, especially Tahad in Denver, got downhill, got to the lane and scored. How important was that to be able to take the ball to the basket with those two guys especially?
Well, when you go up against drop coverage, obviously you're going to be able to get a ball screen, and you're going to be able to turn corners. Creighton does a great job of funneling everybody to the rim, to the shot blocker. Combination of, we try to put a body on the shot blocker on the backside so he couldn't rotate over, and then when he did rotate over, those guys, particularly Tahad, Chad, Denver had a big bucket late. We're able to get in the lane and make buckets, and then we had some backside rebounding there to take advantage of the shot blocking. So it was a very simple game plan. Stephen Pearl had the scout tonight, and he had an absolutely masterful game plan. Particularly, Stephen was focused on the defensive end, just really, really good. I know it didn't look like it in the first half when they were banging all those threes, but I thought we, you know, obviously held a really good offensive team to 70 points and to hold them to, you know, the shooting percentage in the second half of 42%, 23% from three was huge. And then Mike Burgermaster, my offensive coordinator, we had a real good feel for, depending upon where the big fella, who he was guarding, about what actions that we wanted to run to be able to get open shots and to be able to get downhill.
Front row on the right.
Chad Winch with the Barn Media Group. Coach, how does having a core group of seniors give you an advantage in a win like this?
Well, I think it's always an advantage when you have older guys, but my older guys haven't been here before. You know, Creighton's been to the Sweet 16 4 out of the last 5 years. Those guys on that team have been to the Sweet 16 for 3 or 4 of the last 5 years. I don't have anybody on our team. And one of the best performers in the second half was a freshman. So some of that experience thing, it's important, but it wasn't the factor tonight.
Third row here on the right, sorry.
Yeah, Bruce, Ben Baby with ESPN. What changed in the second half, keeping their point guard and McAndrew? They went off in the first half. Y'all seemed to limit them in the second half. What did y'all do defensively to make sure that the ball got out of their hands?
You know, we really worked harder at getting our bigs up to the level. Like even when we talked about in the first half, our bigs were still playing too far back from their men and not able to get out there and impact those ball screens and keep Creighton on the perimeter. I would say fatigue could have been a bit of a factor in the sense that the way we guard kind of makes Creighton have to work really hard to get open and to get looks, and it does take its toll a little bit. I thought our physicality on the rebounding and our physicality just being you know, bodies on bodies, I think they were a little fatigued in the second half.
Third row here on the left.
Yeah, kind of following up on that, first Gary Graves, Associated Press, but following up on that, what was the one thing that you saw in the first half that, I guess, in the absence of your shooting, you know, you were getting rebounds and stuff? Did you just kind of tell them, you know, just go to the boards harder and good things will happen on the other end?
The halftime talk was easy. Guys, they've banged 9 threes. We've missed a couple of inside shots. We're shooting 30-something%, and we're down, what, a bucket? Are you kidding me? You know, Creighton's got to go into the halftime going, how are we only up 2 points? We shot well, we executed well, we made 9 threes. We should be winning by double digits. But we made some offense out of our defense, and we were more dominant on the boards, particularly against some big offensive rebound baskets. So we found a way to try to, you know, manufacture enough points to still be in the game. I thought we were in great shape at halftime, considering how well Creighton played, and the margin was what it was.
We'll try to get 3 quick ones in here. Front row on the left.
Yeah, Bruce, Ed Peak, CBS News. They wanted to know, and I already sent that piece about the hostages. Forgive me for not doing my homework on this, but what made you say that and got you to, do you have friends, or is it anything that you...
I think what made me say it is, again, it starts, with my faith, and it starts with answering the question, why has God blessed Auburn and this basketball team the way he has all season long? And honestly, it's to, I think, put us in a platform of, in this case right now, myself as a Jewish American who loves his country more than anything else in the world. My grandfather came over here at 11 years old in 1929. He became a citizen when he was 32 years old. He said it was the greatest day of his life. This Jewish American loves his country more than anything else. At the same time, over in Israel, that's our ancestral homeland for the Jewish people, and it's under attack. It's under attack. It's under siege. And all it wants to do is live in peace with its neighbors. And you know what? There are some Arab countries that are actually wanting peace with Israel right now. But there's a segment of the population that is there in the Middle East that has been doing nothing but attacking Israel for 85 years. October 7th was the worst day since the Holocaust for the Jewish people. And they say they want to do it again and again and again. We have Americans that are held hostage in Gaza right now. It's unacceptable.
Auburn wins on the floor as they move on to the Sweet 16, 82-70. Creighton, it's night-night for Creighton. And man, if UConn loses tomorrow, the Big East is done. Out of the tournament. This is not a great showing, unfortunately, but there's a lot. Look, the SEC is good. The Big Ten is perfect so far right now. 10-0 for Creighton. It's another loss. 0-4 all time against one seeds, number one overall seeds, as they fall to Auburn. Hey, they had a 2-point lead at halftime, but just couldn't keep it going in the second half. And Creighton, a hell of a season for the Creighton Blue Jays, but they just run into the number one overall seed. All right, back here in studio, Dan Dickau, Tim Doyle. Dan, when you look at this game from Auburn's perspective, down 2 at the half after giving up 9 threes, you had to feel pretty good, and then a second-half surge allows them to earn the victory. What are your takeaways from Auburn's win here?
You look at the fact that Creighton hit 9 threes in that first half, and you know they're a good shooting team, in particular with Stephen Ashworth, but you clear up some of your rotations, you're going to limit them much more in the second half, which is exactly what they did. Only 3 of 13 in the second half for Creighton, so good adjustments defensively, but I think more importantly, offensively, they started to get going. In the second half, they were 60% from the field, where they struggled a little bit in that first half. I think a lot of it was due to the size of Kalkbrenner on the interior, and Pettiford got going. We saw that good finish down the stretch from Denver Jones, and you would like this one. That finish off 2 feet, which is something that so many coaches talk about being so important these days.
Pump fake. What did I say at halftime in this game, Akeem?
You said that Auburn was lucky to be only down by 2.
If I was Bruce Pearl, I would have been like, boys, we are in great shape here. Creighton was 9 of 14 from 3 in the first half. 9 of 14, I repeat. I went down 2 at half. Let's just play our game. Now, I've said it once and I'll say it again. And it kind of stinks. Janai Broome is not at 100%, but I love that he's gutting it out there. 5 offensive rebounds, 12 total rebounds. He had 8 points, but he got help. Dan talked about Denver Jones's bucket. Tahad Pettiford was fantastic, hitting floaters. There's one right there on cue. Great job producing there, Lucas. I love this Auburn team in February. And see Broome 3 games now. He's had 12-plus rebounds. He joins, Jabari Smith, I know. He's on the Rockets. Chuck Person, I know, the Rifleman. And then Jeff Moore. I've never heard of him, but he had 3 games as well. So congratulations to Janai Broome. He's got to get healthy, guys, if they're going to win a national championship. It's really high expectations, but that's where I had them. I thought this was the best team in college basketball when he was healthy. They're still pretty good. I thought this was a very favorable matchup. We did a conference meter before the game. How confident were you in Auburn? I had them at a 9 out of 10. I just thought Creighton didn't match up athletically, didn't match up kind of down low. Auburn out rebounded them 37-27, 42 points in the paint. So much of this is matchups, and I thought Creighton, for their lack of depth, this is a good matchup for Auburn.
All right, so how do they match up now? Because they had to deal with a 7-footer in Ryan Kalkbrenner. Now they got to go against 2 7-footers in Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf. And Danny Wolf played against Auburn last season at 13 points in that upset win that Yale had over Auburn in the first round. So when you look at a matchup standpoint, what sticks out to you?
Well, first off, you mentioned it. There's 2 of them.
Yep.
And we touched on it earlier when we had a segment. The Twin Towers of Michigan are both really good, but they're different. They're unique. So with Kalkbrenner, he was more of a rim runner after setting a high pick and roll. They didn't really throw him to the ball on the block and let him go to work. Golden will get the ball on the block a little bit. He's got good footwork. He can finish with either hand. He can power through you. Wolf can score on the low block, but I think where he does the majority of his damage is his creativity, his footwork, his skill for a big, where he can put the ball on the deck from the outside. He can shot fake. He can go with dribble handoff action. And if he reads something, he can keep and turn the corner. So Janai Broome, Dylan Cardwell, I think they're both going to have their hands full with these 2.
Dylan Cardwell is one of the best pick and roll defenders. He's a great athlete. I'm interested because your breakdown is pretty cool. Janai Broome, how do you target him, whether you're Wolf or Golden? Like, what do you think is the worst matchup for him? What would you see as a point guard? Like, if Broome is guarding Wolf, how would you go at him? What would you tell Danny Wolf to do?
Well, I think Broome is a great defender, but you want to put someone in constant scenarios when they're in decision-making mode. And this goes for both ends of the floor, but I think you put Broome in a lot of pick and rolls with Trey Donaldson as the handler, but then you also put him in guarding a lot of durable handoff actions, especially if he's guarding Danny Wolf, because as mentioned, Danny Wolf is really good. He's really smart, he's skilled. You start going at dribble handoff actions, whether it's at the top to the wing or maybe even the wing to like a zoom action out of the corner, and then he has that ability to keep. Now you're kind of messing up the defense a little bit because Auburn switches a lot. Broome will switch on perimeters occasionally because he can keep guards in front, but you don't want to switch and now have your guard on a keep with Wolf backing you down on the low block.
Yeah, that's what I want to see, what they do with Janai Broome, because I think Cardwell, he's a little more physical. Like, my first thought is Cardwell's probably going to guard Vlad Golden, but maybe you want to keep Broome on him because he doesn't move as well and maybe he's not at 100% right now. So I think that's going to be the amazing chess match. To me, I think Auburn's perimeter players are, I don't want to say much better, but they're better plus than Michigan's perimeter players. I think they have more offensive weapons.
The interesting one is going to be Trey Donaldson.
Yeah.
You know, just having been at Auburn, is there a revenge factor game? I know many times when you enter the portal, there can be bad feelings.
Did you ever go up against Washington?
I did.
How'd you do?
Junior year, I missed it with an injury. Senior year was the only game my senior year in single digits.
Oh.
I got in foul trouble.
This is like a therapy session.
Yeah, he's hit me with that twice tonight. Hey, how do you feel about that? So
you didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, there's a scar bringing the wounds back up. But yeah, but it's something to think about with Donaldson. Like, did he leave on good terms?
Probably
Does he
not.
have animosity? Does he want to attack Auburn?
Yeah, I've gotten fired from many jobs. Not going to name names. Stadium. So every time I go on CBS, like, I love sticking it to them, right? You feel the same way about former employers at game or no?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say it out loud because I'm a pro. Oh yeah, you know Trey Donaldson's going to want to stick it to him. They're gonna face off in Atlanta. I love it. I love it. I love it when it gets loose here on HQ. You always expect it with Tim Doyle. Eventually he's going to bring out the hammer. Give me Auburn in that game, by the way. I can't be out here rooting for Michigan as an Ohio.
I like Auburn too.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a close game. We haven't had a whole lot of them, but there has been madness. And don't miss a moment of the action on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. Download the March Madness Live app to watch every game, anywhere, anytime, live.